Cozy day.
Ah! What the fuck?
Let's talk about my favorite books. But first, the reason why my voice sounds like that in this video is because I recorded with people in the house, meaning I had to keep it down. And the reason why it sounds like this right now is because I woke up 5 minutes ago. It ultimately fits the video theme, so if you don't like it, until next time or something, I don't know, make your own channel. Second, I've hit 300 subscribers, and my writing advice video posted previously has over 2,000 views. Now, while that is a little bit silly, I think, it's also pretty awesome. I haven't read the comments, perhaps I never will, but I'll still say thank you. I made a community post about it too, so go read that. And the reason why I'm acting like none of that happened in this video is because this was actually both recorded and finished before my advice video. Intermission over. Enjoy the show. So, one thing about me is that I don't read, or rather, I read very little, very slowly, and very niche, or at least particular. My favorite genres are nonfiction and poetry. I think they're the only genres I could read back to back if I had to. I am admittedly not a fiction fan anymore. I enjoy classics a little bit, and my favorite fiction genre is definitely mystery, but I've always been a cinephile instead. Follow my Letterboxd, I plan to make film-related videos too, probably. Here and now, however, given I've sort of pigeonholed myself into YouTube book discourse, I'm going to share my top 5 favorite books, just like nobody at all asked. A disclaimer though that while some of this will be serious, as I will be discussing hefty nonfiction titles, some of this will not be. One of the reasons I don't really write book reviews is because I can't to save my life. So by watching this video, know you're signing up for a silly goofy time with a random bitch on the internet chatting about books you probably aren't interested in. This video will exist purely as an artifact of just how much of a loser I am as of mid-2024. This list is obviously subject to change. We'll be doing this list in ascending order, from 5th to 1st, from my least to my most favorite. And how we're gonna do that is, you're gonna come find books with me in these here woods whilst I'm making my patrol rounds. Try not to ask questions.
Attention! Evacuate the forest before sunrise.
But would you look at that? We managed to pick up a pair before our first stop.
Be quiet.
All right! At number 5 we have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. No, I'm not about to get pretentious on you. I'm a nonfiction reader. That ship has long since sailed. I think the biggest mistake in the modern zeitgeist surrounding this title is the idea that Wuthering Heights is a romance. This is not a romance. You can't even really say it has a romance because it doesn't. It has characters who may have been romantically involved. I like to view this book as essentially a family drama. That is, at its core, what Wuthering Heights explores, and it does so masterfully for something written so far prior to the advent of what we know as modern psychology. The way intergenerational trauma and the cycle of domestic abuse are depicted by Bronte is outstanding, and her choice to write this novel in second, sometimes third, even fourth-hand accounts truly makes for, at times, a heart-rending experience because you are constantly plagued by separation, which also mirrors the general atmosphere of the novel. I was free crying all over my keyboard. I first read it digitally through Project Gutenberg, not because I found it especially sad, but because it was so real. And one thing about me, I'm a Heathcliff apologist. Every time that little boy got physically, verbally, racially abused, I flew into a blind rage. Hashtag Heathcliff did nothing wrong. I also own an artisan paperback copy of this now because I, am a loser. Numero tessera here is Plato's The Republic. It's a Socratic dialogue apropos of dikaiosune, or justice, specifically as contextualized in Law and Punishment. Fun fact, its original ancient Greek title is Politia, which can translate to Republic, but which is not its primary translation, that being more in line with simply state or even citizenry. This is my comfort read. Deadass and unironically. It is so relaxing for me to read. It is quite literally just Socrates yapping with a bunch of folks about theory of forms, aging, immortality of the soul, what makes a just city-state in man, philosopher kings. This is what I'm talking about. Just guys being dudes. It's not really something I agree with even most of the time, to be frank with you. Platonic philosophy, when executed, has engendered some pretty horrendous things in the history of our world. But it's a book I can personally chill while reading, and gods only know that's something I need once in my life. Now, once we get down from this tree, we gotta run, alright? Don't catch Geraldine's eye, and if you do, stare her down and back away slowly. Got it? Luckily, I managed to pick up my third book along our way, so here it is. Open Veins of Latin America, 5 Centuries of the Pillage of a Continent by Eduardo Galeano, translated by Isabel Allende. This nonfiction book documents the legacy of Spanish, Portuguese, and other Western and Southern European colonization events across Southern and Central America from their genesis to today, the exploitation of the continent for its resources by USA and other invasive entities, and the socio-political intersections therein. Galeano commentates upon the historical events which have transpired upon the continent and draws parallels across the vast region, whilst exposing the arbitrarily demarcated boundaries of the continent's constituents and how that further plays into and aids its exploitation by colonial powers. He does all that unwavering truth-telling with the backdrop of some of the most beautiful prose I have ever read in a non-fiction book. The description and visuals in this were both stunning and confronting. This is one of those incredibly heavy reads. At least from what I recall of my copy, there are no trigger warnings issued. Galeano describes events in all their most gruesome details, and this book does have uncensored usage of racial slurs, not by the author himself, but within quotations of colonists. I always tell people that if you think you utterly hate colonialism, read this book and you'll realize you didn't hate colonialism nearly enough.
Hi, friend.
Doris, what did we talk about?
I want to play hide and seek.
Is this because I left you to hide for 3 hours last week? Do you want us to vacate the area or something?
9,
Yalla, we gotta get the fuck out.
6, 5, 4,
3.
2,
1.
This was the first poetry collection I've ever read, and what ignited my love for poetry. It's also what finally pushed me to start writing my own poetry and eventually decide to go through with publishing it. It's Come the Slumberless to the Land of Nod by Tracy Brimhall. I wrote in my Storygraph and Goodreads review that this is truly the most visceral, raw collection of poetry I have ever read. The heartbreaking sincerity is unlike anything else and can only be experienced on your own terms. The way Tracy Brimhall writes her poetry is gorgeous. I'd truly love to read an entire novel written in such visual purple prose. Here is Dear Thanatos, that I would like to read out, just to demonstrate to you exactly what it's like. God damn the sweet ease of night, damn the daylight too, dream me, winter me, sleep me somewhere numb, somewhere God doesn't summon me from the side of a man who begs me to dive the well and bring up the boat. I ate the liver of a seal and the narwhal's arctic tongue. I shot a humpback with a harpoon. It struggled, but it sang the moral mysteries. Moan edits oral history to the submarines as it fell, its body 100-year feast for the ocean floor. The testament in its belly gone so wild, so racked with doubt. Not all the fat on the whale's back could burn the meaning out. I cannot describe to you how much I love this poem and Brimhall's writing style, and how much it inspires me to write both my poetry and fiction. This is why my books get slammed by reviewers for being too flowery, and I don't give a damn. This poetry collection will always be everything to me. Tracy, if you're watching, why would you be? I don't even know what to say. Thank you. You're an artist. I hope you're okay. That's Bernice. Don't even worry about it. She can get a tad dramatic. It is nearly sunrise though, so let's keep moving. Here's our fifth, or should I say first. You all know this one well enough by now to say it with me. Orientalism by Edward Wadi Said, exactly. I don't remember when exactly I read this, a few years ago for sure, but it has burrowed directly into my marrow and stayed there ever since. Orientalism is a concept and reality which is, once you learn about it, utterly impossible to not recognize. You just can't stop seeing it everywhere. Said's Orientalism is a genuine moment of awakening in that sense. The Edward Said Public Library was established in 2019 by Palestinian poet Mossab Abu Toha, whom you will absolutely hear about again on my channel, in northern Haifa, with I believe 2 branches in Haifa City and Beit Lahia. That to me is beyond deserved. Edward Said's work, not just this book, is invaluable. You survived woods. If you thought that was a lot, I do this every Saturday. Anyways, This was far from anarchy on page. Like, comment, subscribe. All my links are down in the description. If you see a cop car on your way out asking for the way here, direct them to the next left turn off into town and to drive to the end of the main street where they can enter an apartment block on the right and ask for... That's my landlord. He's an elder thing and will take care of them. What did I say about asking questions? Get the fuck out.